For the first problem, what is 4/5 as a decimal? Just use one of those rules. Top divided by bottom will give you the decimal, and you get 0.8. So 4 divided by 5 is 0.8. Let's see. What is 1 and 8/9 as a decimal? You just take 1 will stay the same, and then 8 divided by 9 is 0.888 repeating, and that shows up as H. What is 0.125 as a fraction in simplest form? For this one, you just say it. So 125 thousandths. 125 thousandths. You simplify what goes into both 125 and 1,000. You keep working it out, and it becomes 1/8. What is the least common denominator? Denominator means bottom number. What's the first bottom number, first denominator that they have in common? It would be like a multiple. It would be 24 because 12, 24, 36, 8, 16, 24, 32. So that one would be 24. What symbol makes 3 and 13/28 and 3 and 17/30 true? I'm not going to worry about a common denominator. I'm not going to do those. I'm just going to change the fractions into decimals by taking top divided by bottom. So I take 13 divided by 28, and I find out that that's 0.4642 and a bunch of other numbers. And I take 17/30, and that becomes 0.5666 repeating. And I know that 0.56, so 3.5666 repeating is better than 3.4642. Let's B. On the next one, I did the same thing. Instead of taking 7/12 and 5/9 and finding the first one that they have in common, I just divided the top by the bottom. I found out that 7/12 is 0.583. I found out that negative 5/9 or 5/9 is 0.555. And here's where the tricky part comes. Since they're both negative, the larger one is going to be closer to 0. So 0.555 is closer to 0 than 0.583. So G is the answer. For number 7, it's just an addition problem. Kelly made 6 batches of cookies. Her friends asked her to make an extra batch. She used 17 1/4 cups of sugar and needs another 7/8 cups for the extra batch. How many cups of sugar will Kelly use altogether? So you're just taking 17 1/4 and adding 7/8 to it. Can't do it that way, so you'd have to show your work. As you can see on the right, was adding 17 1/4 plus 7/8. I made 1/4 and 7/8 down below, changed them both to eighths, so it's 2/8 and 7/8, and added those together, got 9/8. So 17 9/8 is the same as 18 1/8, and it is C. For the next problems, you just have to be really careful about the negatives and making sure that you think of the rules for those. Find a common denominator and work it out. I use 36, but you could use 18ths. Either one works. And you just have to figure out that you'll have to take the 6 and 6/36 and subtract 28/36 from that, and that's going to get you into negative numbers, and I get 22/36, which is 11/18. And if you use 18ths, you'll get that answer right away. The next one's pretty simple. It's just 11 5/7 plus 8 1/7. They're both sevenths. Just have to add them together. So you get 19 6/7. On that one, you wouldn't have to show your work. On the next one, it's multiplication. And multiplication rules are top times top, bottom times bottom. So you just do straight multiplication. So on this one, you get 12 over 252. But it does ask, it tells you to get it in simplest forms. So you find out what goes into both 12 and 252, and you find out that 12 goes into both. And that, if you divide top by 12 and bottom by 12, you get 1 over 21, which is I. For the first one, it's pretty simple. You're just taking 3/5 minus 1/5. They're both fifths. It's just 2/5. Don't have to show you work on that one. For the next one, you're just taking 3 and 5/9 minus 2 and 1/3. Need to set it up. Need to find the common denominator, and it'll be ninths. So 5/9 is 5/9, and 1/3 is 3/9. Then you subtract those. So you just subtract the 3 minus 2, which is 1, and then the 5/9 minus 3/9, which is 2/9. So the answer is 1 and 2/9. For the next one, it's just a division problem. It's 5/6 divided by 2 and 1/6. First step, change the mixed number into an improper fraction. So it'll be 5/6 divided by 13/6. Second step, turn to a multiplication problem. 5/6 times 6/13. And then top times top, bottom times bottom. Then you need to simplify 30/78. 6 goes into both. The answer is 5/13. For the next one, some people got confused because if it takes her 1/3 of an hour to walk 3/4 of a mile, we're trying to find her pace, which is speed, and speed is miles per hour in this case, or distance over time. So we would just take 3/4 divided by 1/3, which is the same as 3/4 times 3 over 1, which equals 9/4. And 9/4 is 2 and 1/4. And that's miles per hour. Couple ways to do the next one. If a recipe calls for 1/8 teaspoon of vanilla extract, if the recipe is doubled, how much vanilla extract is needed? Just 1/8 times 2, or 1/8 plus 1/8, which gives you 1/16. Next one's super easy. 5/8 of a pie is how much they ate, and if it's cut into 8 pieces, they ate 5 of them, and that means there's 3 left over, so that would be 3/8. Next one's, no, you don't have to do it, yeah. For the next few, it's not that bad. It's just taking top divided by the bottom. For the next one, you just say it. It's 2 100ths. And write the fraction for 2 100ths. Simplify, it's 1/50th. For this one, 68.25, 68 stays the same. 0.25 is 25 hundredths, which simplifies down to 1/4. For number 5, I'm just going to change those into decimals. It's a lot easier. Change a fraction into a decimal. You take top divided by bottom. I took 8 divided by 13 on my calculator, and I found out that it was 0.615. I took 5 divided by 17 on my calculator and found it's 0.29, and a lot of numbers after that. And 0.615 is way bigger than 0.29. On the next ones, you do the same thing. For this one, 10/15 is 0.666 repeating. And 5 over 14, 5 divided by 14, is about 0.375. 0.666 is greater than 0.375, but you have to realize they're both negatives. And negative 0.666 is farther away from 0 than 0.375, so that one's greater. So on these, you just convert. 1 divided by 4 is 0.25, 10 divided by 25 is 0.4, so it's 1/4, then 10/25, and then 0.5 of an inch. First one, pretty simple. Bottom numbers are the same. It's negative 2/9 minus 4/9 is the same as like negative 2 minus 4, which would be negative 6/9. Simplify that as negative 2/3. Next one, 3/8 times negative 2/7. Don't worry about the negatives to begin with. It's just top times top, bottom times bottom. I get 6/15. 56. That ends up being simplified to 3/28, and it's negative because the signs are different. Positive times a negative is always negative. For this next one, you do have to show your work, and it would be as simple as just switching. So you keep, switch, and flip. So it's negative 7/8 times 6/5, 42/40, which is 1, and 2/40, which is 1, and 1/20. And don't forget, since it's one's negative and one's positive, the answer is going to be negative. For the next problem, 3 4/5 minus 2 1/3, you need to set it up to show your work. Not going to worry about the 3 and the 2. Just going to set up 4/5 and 1/3, find a common bottom number, which is 15. So 5/15, and that's times 3 is 12/15. So 12/15 minus 5/15 is 7/15, and 3 minus 2 is 1. So it's 1 and 7/15. For the next one, just have to set it up as 2/3 and 4/9, find a common denominator. Add them together, you get 10/9, which is the same as 1 and 1/9. Dividing mixed numbers. First thing, change them to improper fractions. Next step, keep, switch, and flip. Next step, top times top, bottom times bottom, which equals 2 and 36/45. Next step, simplify, which is 2 and 4/5. Last one on this page is just multiplication. First step in multiplying mixed numbers is change it to an improper fraction. Then just have to simplify that, which becomes 17/4, which is 3 and 1/4. For this one, it says it takes Mara 50 minutes to walk to her friend's house 2/3 of a mile away. What's her walking pace in miles per hour? You have to be careful because we have miles and then minutes instead of hours. So you have to change the minutes, 50 minutes, to a fraction, which is out of 60. So it's 50/60 or 5/6. Next one, just strict multiplication. 2 and 3/4 times 3. It's just tripled. Can't multiply mixed numbers, change it to improper fraction, and then top times top, bottom times bottom. Straight addition problem, if you add them up, you have to find the common denominator. It'll be 6th, and you're going to end up with 1 and 7/6, which is the same as 2 and 1/6. Next one, straight addition. Adding each of them, you have to find a common denominator. A couple ways to do this one. You can just take 3/4 of 3, or you can do 3/4 of 24/8. That's how many slices you'd have. Either one, you'd still get the same answer, which is 18.